I'm going to show you the Uber driver requirements and Lyft driver requirements for Kansas City, Missouri. First off, starting with Uber, you can see right here, minimum driver age. You do need to be 21 years of age or older and hold a valid driver's license. So if you're 20 and you're in college, unfortunately, you cannot drive for Uber or Lyft, but you can do delivery driving. The minimum age is 19 years or older. So let's say if you're looking for like a gig economy type job with a flexible schedule and all that kind of stuff, delivery driving might be your go-to of, like, say you're 20 years, or actually in this case, just 19 or 20, right? Because you can't be under 19, unfortunately, at all with rideshare driving or delivery driving. When it comes to documents, pretty straightforward. Driver's license, proof of work eligibility, social security number, registration, insurance, and profile photo. You need to be able to drive the car. And if you own it, you need, of course, the registration and insurance. You can rent a car through Uber or Lyft, so keep that in mind if you, like, say you don't have one. But you do need all these kind of typical documents. Lastly, a background check. They will run a criminal and driving background check. So let's say if your criminal record is completely clean, but you have a bunch of speeding tickets, for example, on your driving history, they will see that. And that is something to keep in mind. I don't know how Uber and Lyft does it, to be honest. I don't know if it's like after 2, you can't drive when it comes to speeding tickets. I genuinely don't know. But just something you should be aware of. And then lastly, you do need a phone. Or I've seen some drivers use like an iPad that has like a 5G or a data connection or whatever. So I have seen some drivers do that, but being honest, I think most people have a smartphone, and you do need to use that to run both Uber and Lyft. Now, in terms of vehicle requirements, 16-year-old vehicle or newer if you do have yours, 4-door vehicle, good condition with no cosmetic damage, and no commercial branding. You do need a registration and insurance, like I said. I also suggest having rideshare insurance just to be safe, right? Just to be safe. And when it comes to this as well, remember, like I said, that let's say if you have a 2-door vehicle. So let's say you have your own vehicle, but unfortunately it doesn't qualify under these rules. You can rent one. I'd say on average, it's about $200 to $300 a week. So you kind of have to do that math out of like, oh, well, $200 to $300 a week is a good amount. Is that worth it or not? If you're going to be doing it full time, maybe it is. If you're only doing it part time, maybe it isn't. Maybe you should find like a different job, for example. These are both the Uber driver requirements and the Uber vehicle requirements. Now going to Lyft, right? Let's start here when it comes to the driver requirements. We'll kind of jump back and forth a little bit. First off, a valid driver's license. Temporary or out-of-state licenses are also acceptable. Second thing, 25 or older. I don't know why this is. This depends city to city and state to state, the exact rules when it comes to driving for Uber and Lyft. But it's a very common thread. Uber, 21 years or older. Lyft, 25 or older. I don't know why that Lyft is such a big jump. To be honest, I'm not really sure. But keep in mind that, let's say, if you're 21 or 22 or 23 or 24, you can drive for Uber, but not for Lyft, which is interesting. Next, pass a driver screening. Like I said, criminal background check and driving history. Very similar to Uber. A lot of this is kind of the same as Uber, to be honest, minus the age aspect. Smartphone, profile photo, vehicle registration, and insurance, although I do suggest getting rideshare insurance. Now, when it comes to the vehicle requirements, what's good about Kansas City, Missouri, in general, is that there are some cities that require a lot of stuff, whether it's New York or Portland, Oregon, for example. Those areas require a lot. As you're seeing from this video from both Uber and Lyft, this is the most basic that you can possibly get. I feel like when it comes to city requirements, like some cities require you to create like an independent contractor license or like a mini business license, or even get like a TNC, all this kind of stuff. There can be a lot. Here's what's interesting though about Missouri, I will say, because you may be wondering, or maybe not, they know, well, can I drive in other places? Like, can I go to St. Louis, like say if I'm in Missouri? What's interesting, it's kind of weird that some states have this. When it comes to your car, at least the exact time of this video, you can be 2008 or newer in terms of the vehicle's age. In Springfield, Missouri only though, it has to be 2010 or newer. I don't know why Springfield is kind of the one-off in Missouri that's like, oh, if you're 2009, for example, like you have a 2009 Prius, or do Priuses even exist in 2009? I don't know. Like you have a 2009 Prius though, you can drive in all those cities, but not Springfield. I don't know why it's Springfield. It's kind of weird, right? 4 doors, 5 to 8 seats, including the drivers, not a taxi, stretched limousine, or non-express drive rental vehicle, not titled as salvage, not repairable, rebuild, or any other equivalent classification. There are a couple of things I do have to mention on this video. One, you do need to have an emblem. So once you do sign up, you do need to have like an emblem or a sticker or whatever on your car, both saying Lyft and Uber. I guess you could only have Uber or only have Lyft, but probably just easy to have both. There's a lot of places, including Kansas City, that now require that. I'm pretty sure this might be a federal thing too now, where you have to have that on your car, especially when it comes to going to the airport. If you are doing airport rides, you want to make sure that people know, hey, this is an Uber driver and a Lyft driver. Each airport around the country has different rules, and the logistics is also changing. Like here in LA, we didn't used to have, like, say, the LA exit. Now we do, so we have to, like, super annoying. Like, this designated Uber and Lyft pickup area. You can't do, like, roadside pickups. There's a lot of stuff going on, right, with the Los Angeles airport, with all the construction. But when it comes to Kansas City, right, keep in mind that you want to look through all the rules, especially when it comes to the airport, so you don't get into any trouble. The next thing I have to mention, sign up with both apps. I say this in every video almost all the time, especially these requirement videos. And I keep having to stress it because I still have people hitting me up all the time saying, hey, Mark, I know you mentioned it, but, like, Uber's really the only popular rideshare service in my area. Do I really need Lyft? Or vice versa? Trust me, sign up with both. Because if you sign up with both, you never know, on one random weekend, Lyft may be paying more, Uber may be paying more, right? And there could be, like, say, one weekend that just in general Uber pays more. There could also be another weekend where Lyft says, hey, you know what? Do 30 rides in this weekend, we'll give you an extra $100, $200. And you're like, oh, I'm going to drive for Lyft then, right? Even in the same night, maybe there's surges galore with Lyft, but now with Uber, or vice versa. Definitely sign up with both apps. The last thing I want to talk about is the pay. You may be wondering, with all this being said, like, okay, I'm considering driving, in Kansas City, but is the pay going to be good? I mean, like, I don't want to sign up and go through this whole process, which I will say is a lot easier than most cities, probably the most easiest, like the bare basics compared to most cities. Is it worth it or not? My answer is, well, it depends, being honest. I've done an entire video about should you drive for Lyft and Uber. I have it listed below in the description. It was like an hour long. I know it's very long. Going to the nitty gritty, my honest advice is this: test out the waters. I'd say on average, the average driver makes about $20 to $25 an hour. When I looked into the hard analytics, and it's tough to say depending on how you drive and when you drive, it seemed like in Kansas City, Missouri, in that given area, you're looking at closer to about 20 to 22 an hour. That was the average amount I saw as a spread. That unfortunately does not include things like taxes or depreciation on your car, expenses, gas. Doesn't include all that kind of stuff, right? So these are things you have to kind of weigh out, which is why I suggest if you do have the car, that's huge, might as well sign up and try it. Of course, when it comes to driving, I've done a bunch of pro tip videos. All of this below in the description. A lot more to check out if you want. Then, of course, peak hours, Friday and Saturday nights, morning and evening commutes are going to pay a lot of money. I suggest trying out and seeing if it works or not, because you do never know. However, and this is what I say to a lot of people, I like to be very transparent. You can start driving, be like, you know what? I'm not making that much money. I can only drive in non-peak hours. They're not paying that much. It's not really worth it. Or you can make a lot of money. Now, keep in mind, too, you are able to commute. So, for example, let's say, and I'm making this up, you live in the outskirts, right? Or you live at a place that's, I'm making this up, an hour, 2 hours from St. Louis, for example. Well, you might be better off, actually, going to St. Louis and driving, or more of a bigger city, if, let's say, the pay is better. I know some people who commuted, like, say, an hour or 2 hours to Boston, for example, when I used to live there. They did commute a couple hours to Boston just to drive, because although they're wasting 4 hours, 2 hours there, 2 hours back, when they factor in all the math, that extra 4 hours of commuting still was worth it because they made so much more money how they stayed in their area. So that is the option that you do have, is you could drive pretty much anywhere in the state. There is that one odd, and I don't know why, there's probably some reason. There is that one unique situation, though, of Springfield when it comes to your car age. I don't know why Springfield specifically, but if you're looking to drive in Springfield, and again, your car is unfortunately, like, say, 2009, at least at the time of this video, you cannot drive in Springfield. It has to be 2010 or newer. At the end of the day, though, with all this being considered, like I said to everybody, Lyft and Uber can be an excellent option, but it does depend upon your situation. I know for some people, they've signed up, they drive, and they're like, look, this is amazing. The flexible schedule, I can drive when I want, how I want, I have instant cash outs, I'm making good money, etc., etc. I know other people who sign up and drive, and they're like, you know what? I hate to say it, I don't think it's worth it. The pay isn't that good. I can't really drive during the best time, so even when I can drive, even though yeah, it's flexible, I'm just not making that much money. I'd rather do something else. It does depend upon your situation, which is why I suggest always try it out and then go from there.